Ha ha. There's no audio because I'm a ding dong. Yes. So, hopefully everybody's doing all right and everybody had a good weekend. Uh, and it's good to be back and doing the show again, guys. It's been a little while. Obviously, life is a little different around here, but you know, we're pulling through, man. We are pulling through, and you know, it goes without saying that we want to offer a huge amount of thanks uh, to everybody that has reached out, to everybody that has offered prayer, and even if it was just a hey, how you guys doing, hope you're all right, man, that has meant so much um, over these past few weeks. And uh, and and Amy and I both are just extremely thankful. And you know, for all the people that mailed us stuff, obviously we have return addresses, we have thank you cards and things like that that we want to send out. Um, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in um, my email address, which is rcairmarshall@gmail.com. And, for those of you that I, I know that, you know, anybody that's here that has said, has offered their condolences, whatever, made contributions through PayPal that has helped us out. We would like to send you guys thank you cards. And I know that I can get a lot of those addresses just going through PayPal because a lot of them have return addresses on them. But if you want to send us your address to my email address, we would appreciate it so we can get some thank you cards sent out because it's just the right thing to do. I did. I did. So I think I want to did that work? Uh, Shadow, anytime, anytime. So, yeah, if you guys can, shoot us an address, we'd like to send some thank you cards out, and we'll get moving. Tim Tutot, thank you, and who's it? Kevin Trappin, thank you for becoming a member. That kind of leads us into, some other things that I want to get into tonight as we move through the show. Let's see. All right. So, for those of you that have been with us for a while, I'm sure that a lot of you guys have seen our old logo, and it had a lot of writing and stuff in it, and uh, it just made it kind of a pain in the butt to try to put that on a shirt or be able to tell what it was when it was really small. Thank you, Nate. And thank you to Kevin Trappin for upgrading your membership. That's awesome. So we made a new logo that is a little more simple. And you know, if you go to the homepage of the YouTube channel, you can see the new logo, and you can see it on the shirts because we now have a merch store, and our stuff is cool. So check it out. If you look down in the description for this video, you will find a link to the merch store, and it will be in the description for all of our future videos. It's on Teespring, so feel free to go check it out. Grab you some RC Air Marshal shirts. We got coffee cups, shirts. Man, we got face masks for the COVID-19 folks. We've got, what else do we have? We've got some stickers. I'm actually going to take the stickers off because the stickers didn't come out so good. But there's all kinds of stuff on there, guys. And, you know, they came out really nice. You know, I got like 3 different colors here. Amy's got a couple of shirts, and she'll be down here in a little bit, along with the UMX Dobermans. So we got the shirts and all the merch, and you can check that out by going to our Teespring store. Let's see here. And I will put a link to that right here in the chat. I did not get any GB leggings. So what do we got? Let's go over here and take a look at never mind. My audio's all weird tonight. I like redid all of the things for OBS when I was doing all this, so a lot of things changed, and I forgot to add the microphone to a lot of screens. But anyway, we've also got throw pillows, we've got hoodies, we've got everything but hats, and I am working with a local company to get hats done. I should have a quote on that tomorrow, but the hats are going to be a little different, right? Because I have to get them made locally, and the shipping on those would probably be about $6 or $7 a pop. It just wouldn't be right to ask the price on those. So those hats are going to be reserved. I will have some available, like when we go out to different meets and things. I will have hats available to for sale at like Jet Jam, or if we go to, you know, Joe Knoll or whatever, you know, the Merry Boozers meet, we'll have hats available, and you know, we'll just sell them at cost because I don't really want to make a profit on any of this stuff. And, you know, if you want one mailed to you, we'll certainly mail it, but, you know, it's going to have to add like $8, you know, for the shipping and the box and all the stupid crap that goes along with it. So I should have prices on those tomorrow. And, you know, if you want a hat, send me an email so I can get like a gauge on how many folks would like an RC Air Marshal hat, because I think the logo is pretty cool. And let me know. So anyway, let's go back to what I was looking at. All right, so for those of you guys that some of you guys have already joined up, and that's awesome. You know, and there's been some people joining up tonight. The next thing that I wanted to add is that we have channel memberships now. I have no idea how I got it. Maybe YouTube loves me. Maybe I just got lucky. Whatever the case may be, we have channel memberships now, and that's awesome. So, you know, the channel memberships are another way that you guys can support the channel. You know, if you don't want to do the super chats or whatever, that's fine. The channel memberships start at $1.99. They go up to $4.99, and then the highest level of memberships is, I think, $9.99. So, you know, that's a per month kind of recurring deal, and it's just another way that you can support the channel. So we have several different avenues, and the channel memberships come with a few perks. So everybody that's a member to the channel will have a 5% off code for the Teespring store, so you can get merchandise at 5% off of the listed price, which is awesome. You will also have access to the emojis that you see some people using, where we've got the propeller, and we've got a silver air marshal badge, and we've got a lightning bolt, and I couldn't have done this without having a UMX Doberman emoji, and you see people using it, and it's awesome. I love it. As well as the loyalty badges. You know, for the first month, you will have a bronze air marshal badge, and then it will go to silver. At the 2-month point and at the 3-month point, it will change to a gold air marshal badge, and that's awesome. So we have, you know, the UMX Doberman emoji available to our members, which is awesome. Flying Times, thank you so much. Joseph Youngblood, thank you for becoming a member to the channel. We certainly appreciate it. All right, so again with the perks, now tonight would have normally been a virtual fly-in night, but because of, you know, kind of the special circumstances, this is the first stream we've done in a while. I elected to you know, just go ahead and go live, where it's just us, you know, talking to the group. So we're gonna do the virtual fly-in next Monday instead of tonight. So I do apologize for those of you guys that were looking forward to doing a virtual fly-in. That'll be next Monday. Now, one of the perks to becoming a member is we will do a virtual fly-in every week. I've had a lot of people asking, like, why are we only doing them once a month? You know what? I'll go ahead and do a virtual fly-in every week, but it will be unscheduled. Well, it will be scheduled, but it will be a member perk. And unfortunately, it's going to have to ride on top of someone's stream, so it won't be streamed. But it will be something that we'll be doing, and we can all get together and we can fly together, and there will be, you know, special, you know, non-standard passwords where, you know, people that are members of the channel can join in, and we can all get together and fly virtually every week. So that's another one of the perks, in addition to the 5% off. I believe, you know, we're going to have like full-length build videos and, you know, blooper reels, unedited stuff, you know, behind-the-scenes stuff that's happening at the Air Marshal. That's going to be available for the folks that do the second tier. The third tier, we have a couple of other benefits where we're going to be shouting out all of our sheriffs. You know, so that's the name for the third tier. We're going to be doing special shout outs for all the sheriffs every week. And in addition to that, there will be a special stream once a month where I will have a stream just for the sheriffs, where I am going to basically have you guys as our, you know, as our board members, so to speak, to kind of drive the direction of the channel. and get an idea of, how you guys want to see the channel moving forward. And that stream will be available for the sharers, for the people that are offering the highest level of support. We want to make sure that, that you guys are going to basically be the sounding board that we're going to use to make sure that we're going to keep the channel moving in the right direction. So all good, very cool stuff. Mickey B, absolutely. The Zoom sessions are going to be every Friday. We're going to be starting to do those again this coming Friday. And that is, regardless of channel membership, you don't need to be a member of the channel to participate in the Zoom sessions. That's going to be, free for everybody. Chris Reynolds, I appreciate that. The 636 and 637T videos, definitely it took a lot of work to put those together, so I appreciate it. What's up, Roland? So, Nate, what I will do in the future is, before we do the Zoom sessions, I will do a community post on my channel that should pop up in your notifications. If you have your notifications turned on for the RCR Marshall YouTube channel, you should see that post pop up, and it'll have a link to the Zoom session. And that way you guys can get in there and join with us. And that's probably a better way to do the announcements rather than posting them on Facebook, is to do a community post on the YouTube channel, because obviously everybody that's here watches our YouTube channel, but not everybody that's here is on Facebook or Instagram or whatever the case may be. So we're going to start doing a community post with the Zoom link that everybody will be able to see. Ken Sprouse Jr., thank you for upgrading your membership. That is awesome. Or I guess you just joined, so that kicks butt too. Right on, Nate. So that is what we will start doing, is we will start doing a community post here on the YouTube channel that's got a link to the Zoom session that we do every Friday. And that way you guys can join the Zoom, and the folks that never knew how to join the Zoom, it may have been because you didn't see it on Facebook. Usually we put that in the RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group, but I'll start doing that as a community post on YouTube as well, so we can have some more folks join in. If you haven't participated in one of the YouTube sessions before, they're pretty cool. I'm sorry, in one of the Zoom sessions, it's just a big forum where we can all, if you guys have ever done like a Zoom session for work or a big teleconference, using whatever teleconferencing software, with the Zoom membership that I've got, we can have up to 100 people in a big video teleconference, which is pretty awesome, right? And so far we've been really good about not talking talking over each other. And I'd love to see that thing just get absolutely filled with folks. And I'll tell you, it's fun to participate in those Zoom sessions because it's kind of a no holds barred situation, right? We're not streaming, we're not live. It's just a bunch of dudes. We're talking. There may be curse words, so it's not suitable for children, but it is, it's interesting. Sandros 54. Sorry, every time someone joins, the channel, I have to stick my face way down there, and I'm trying to stare at what it says because it's hard to read. What it says, the blue and the green kind of blend in with each other. But thank you so much for joining. We certainly appreciate it. Jermaine Spencer. Hey man, I appreciate you so much for trying to carry the torch. Everything that everybody's done since I've been, kind of in hiatus, and we appreciate it so much. And Jermaine trying to keep the Zoom sessions going in our absence. That's been wonderful. And hopefully some of you guys have been participating in those. But, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it going. Yeah, Nate, and the Friday Zoom sessions, your sailor potty mouth will definitely go well in those sessions for sure. It is absolutely a sausage fest, Victor. That's what we do here. Hey, 14 and up, baby, 14 and up. It's not intended for children under the age of 13. So as long as you're 14 or better, according to YouTube, you are no longer a kid. Chris Reynolds, we will. David Snyder, thank you so much. Chris Reynolds, we will have community posts that we will put in the YouTube channel. So if you have your notifications turned on, I will put a link on Friday that has a link to get into the Zoom chat. And you just click on that link and it'll bring you right in. You may have to download an app on your phone, or you may have to go and download some special plugins for your web browser or whatever for Zoom to work. But, once you have that, you never have to do it again. And you just click on the link and it brings you right into the conference. All right. I will be right back. My dog is freaking whining about something. I got to go figure out what's up. So hold on just a second, guys. All right, sorry. Sorry, I got it. So the dogs are cool. I love these little UMX Doberman emojis. That is awesome. All right, so I saw Farmerman asking, what about airplanes? We're still going to do airplanes, man. All right, so speaking of airplanes, I do want to kind of catch up on, some unfinished projects, things that we, had in the pipeline that kind of took a hiatus with us, because I'll be honest, there hasn't been a lot of RC stuff going here over the last few weeks. Our insides were just not feeling it, but we need to get back on track. So the last time we did a stream, the same plane, you can see it really hasn't moved since the last stream that we did. This is the Dynam C47, not the P47. The P47, we got our redemption flight and we put a video up. That thing flies outstanding. The C47 also flies outstanding. We have the footage for that we actually filmed on the same day as the P47. And I was going to be editing it the night that I found out what happened. So obviously I still need to get on top of that and edit the flight video for the C47. That'll be going up here this week. And the C47, that's a great plane, man. It's the only drawback there's a few things to it that are a little quirky. It's an older Dynam model, so everything glues together. Everything. The wings glue together, the tabs glue together. I think both the horizontal and vertical stabilizers all glue into the model. Nothing is done with screws, which is a little odd, but you know, it's an older model. You know, but the wings are easily removable from the fuselage. So the wings, you know, have like a tongue and groove that they go into in the front side of the wing, and the bottom and the aft side of the wing goes in and has like a nylon bolt that goes in. So it's a single bolt to remove the wings, which is nice. But once you get it together, I mean, it's two twin motors. It flies outstanding. You don't really have a lot of the torque roll. You know, the only issue that I have with it, and it's not really an issue, it's not a bad thing, is that it doesn't have retracts, right? So the landing gear stay down all the time, but you know, the landing gear kind of stay down on a DC3 and C47 anyway. They don't go up all the way into themselves. So it's not that much of a downfall that it doesn't have retracts, although it would be cool if it did. Mike Keller, yes, they are counter-rotating props. And I think that, well, I mentioned that in one of the videos. I don't know if I mentioned that in one of the streams. So this is the Dynam C47 V2. And that's what makes it V2, is in the past, the first version of the Dynam C47, both of the props were going in the same direction. In this version of the C47, it has counter-rotating props, which kind of cancel out any of the kind of torque roll or P factor that you would see typically on a single-engine or airplane. So we're going to get that video up. I've got at least two, possibly three more videos that I need to finish up on the AR637T series, which would bring us up, I think, to a total of 14 or 15 videos for the series, and then we'll be able to call that complete, which is awesome. You know, and for any of you guys that are looking to program an AR637T, what I want you to do is keep watching. You know, go ahead and go through the AR637T videos that I have, because you can get a completely set up model using the 11 videos that are there, or 12, however many are there right now. I think 12. These three videos, or two or three that I have coming up, are more advanced topics that are going to be related to features that you can access with more advanced radios. You know, if you've got like an IX12, IX20, even a DX9 can take an advantage of some of these, depending on how many physical channels you're running. So stay tuned for that. And also, we've got the other big project, which was the base gray Freewing F18. The base gray Freewing F8 to FU, Kenny. The base gray Freewing F18 that we're going to be doing in the VFC 12 Fighting Omars paint scheme. As soon as we are done kind of getting all of the other stuff that's on the back burners done, because when I'm working on that F18, I kind of want that to be the only project that I'm working. So, you know, that's going to be a big project. It's going to span several videos where we're going to do paint and decal work and customizations, you know, prepping the landing gear and prepping the, you know, the canopy, because they just did some weird stuff on the base gray model of the F18. So, you know, that's going to be a lot to cover, and I kind of want that to be the only project going on at the time. And then we'll be caught up on the projects that we're doing as far as airplanes go. Just Custom RC, it's good to see you, buddy. Uniac, good to see you. Yep, so What up, Dustin? Kenny is alive. Man, I love the UMX Dobermans. Yeah. That is so funny. That's my favorite emoji ever. That is so funny. What's funny is, like, for me to be able to use the UMX Doberman, I have to become a member myself, which I'll probably do, just so I can also use the UMX Doberman emoji. Thank you, Dana. I certainly appreciate it. The next stuff that I want to talk about before we just go off into complete rando discussion like we normally do on our channel is a couple of new toys that we have for the channel. Sorry, I had to step. I love the dogs. So the first new toy that we got is this little guy right here. I got a GoPro Hero 8 Black Edition. There's only one edition of the GoPro Hero 8. I don't know why they called it a Hero 8 Black. They didn't do like a white or a silver for the GoPro. And this is going to be for, obviously for extra footage and B-roll and things like that we're going to be doing at the field, and for, making vlogs and things like that, being able to do awesome, crazy time lapses. These things are so versatile, and it was high time that we got ourselves an action cam. We won't be doing hat cam videos, don't worry. At least for air stuff. Now, kind of like Ryan, I do have some non-fixed wing airplane stuff in the works, which kind of brings us to another one of the new toys that we got for the channel. And some of you that watch my Facebook feeds and watch the Instagram will know that we got ourselves a little quadcopter. Now, I've never done a quadcopter before. I've done a lot of flying of quadcopters in the simulator, both in real flight and another quad simulator called Liftoff. And if any of you guys are interested in learning how to fly quads, I would absolutely recommend getting Liftoff instead of Real Flight. Liftoff is like $20. And if you've got a controller that you can use with Real Flight, like the Interlink controllers for Real Flight, they will work in Liftoff too. Liftoff is an amazing quadcopter simulator. So the reason I got this wasn't because I want to start doing a bunch of quads on the channel, but as you can see, there is a mount there that you can slip the GoPro inside of, and now you've got a flying GoPro mount. So I got this so we can do some more interesting shots of the airplanes. Maybe do like some crazy, slide by yaw turns of the airplanes and kind of orbit around the airplanes. But as it turns out, I need to become a much better quad pilot to pull that off. So while I got this to add, some more cinematic stuff, in fact, that's the type of quad that this is called, is a Cinewhoop. For you guys that are interested, this is the Diatone. It's the Taycan 6S Cinewhoop, and it's got like little ducts around each one of the four fans. I don't I don't have the fans in there right now. And if you see that little black spot on my hand, you'll see that even with all this protection, that can still happen. So if you're messing around with this thing, take the freaking props off. They will chew you up with no mercy. Yes, always remove the props. I think that I knew that already, and I was being an idiot and trying to hover it in the house, and it was hovering fine, and it just kept coming back towards me, towards me, and towards me, and I kind of like tried to push it away, but when I tried to push it away, it just didn't work out, and it like chewed the skin off of one of my knuckles, you know, and because it's got like the fan ducts, it was on the bottom side, or like the top side of it, and it like sucked my hand into the. I mean, those things, they have some thrust to them. Right? Yeah, I'll only do that once. So Nathaniel Morgan. For now, I've got. Yeah, I can put up a link for the drone. Let me find that. So right now it's out of stock, which stinks, but isn't everything that comes out of China? Hold on just a second. All right. So that is a link to Grayson Hobby. Grayson Hobby is actually a local company to me, if you want to call it local. It takes about an hour to drive over there. But yes. So I went over to Grayson Hobby and I bought this little drone, and you know the way that it's wired up. I mean, I know that a lot of folks, man, a lot of folks use, you know, the what is it, the FR Sky, you know, Jumper T16, like they use the Open TX transmitters. And I've already got this IX12. What's going on? I've already got the IX12. Check it out. So a lot of people use like the OpenTX transmitters, whether that is the FR Sky or the Radio Master, Jumper transmitters. I mean, I've already got this IX12. I paid a lot of money for it, and I was like, you know, I'm going to figure out how to make it work rather than getting another transmitter. So I bought the Spektrum. It's the SPM 4650. It's a little micro transmitter. The thing is about, I mean, it's smaller than a postage stamp. And it uses a different kind of protocol, and the way that it wires into the flight controllers is a little bit different. So instead of using like an RX pad, it uses a TX pad. You know, we won't get into too much of that geeky stuff, but the you know, I got it up and running and it works fantastic. And I haven't had any problems with it. So, you know, if you've got a Spektrum radio and you want to get into these things, that little SRXL2 SPM 4065 or 4650 receiver is a great option. And through the SRXL protocol and the latest versions of Betaflight, you can get all of the, it does bidirectional stuff, bidirectional telemetry, right? So it's only a single wire for all your flight control and your telemetry to come across, so you don't have to have separate wires for that, which is really cool. And it works great. It binds up instantly, and it works just like any other Spektrum model once you get it running. And it works great with Betaflight. You don't have to set up anything extra, as you did with older Spektrum receivers in drones. It works fantastic. So if you've already got a drone, it might be worth the $20, or $25 to upgrade your receiver to one of the SRXL2 receivers, because the Betaflight setup is so much easier. John T, how you doing? All right, so that is pretty much everything that I wanted to discuss. Oh, so because it's part of the air stuff. Like doing quadcopters or whatever is still air vehicles. So I wanted to kind of get a feel for, like, do you guys want me to do like a full-on review of this thing, the same as I would for an airplane? Because I'd be glad to. I suck at flying it right now, but it may not be something that you guys see next. But I'll definitely do a review on it. I've never done a review on a quadcopter. So if you guys are interested in learning more about this and how I hooked it all up and my settings in Betaflight and all that good stuff, I can definitely, get a review going on this and show you how I set it up on a Spektrum transmitter, how I did a Spektrum receiver, and kind of my learning to fly process and all the little bits and things that I've learned while I've been figuring out how to do quads. What's up? Yeah. Okay. What's going on? Oh. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily call me in the quad world, but I'm trying. Now and that's cool. I appreciate it. So I will definitely Flying Fortress RC, thank you for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. Yeah, for now, I am not very good at the flying. I've been putting a lot of hours into the liftoff simulator, which actually does a great job. Like I said, it's much better than Real Flight for learning, the quads and getting some practice time in on, on flying, this style of aircraft. For now, what I got was these Emax. I think they're called like the Emax Transporter. It's just a box goggle set for FPV. And I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan. They certainly work. They do the job, right? And I'm able to get my, I'm able to get the video up for FPV, and I'm able to get the on-screen displays and all that stuff going. But it's just not very good resolution. The colors are a little washed out. it's good for $40. That's about how much I paid for this. Um, it was about $40. So yeah, I've got the yaw under control. And what I'm trying to do is figure out how to go like real slow. And it just it's hard, man. It's hard to fly really slow. In fact, the faster I'm flying, the more in control of the quad I seem to be. It likes going fast a lot better than it likes going slow. Trying to like hover and get really slow forward movement where the the quad's not especially like the lower down to the ground you get because of the way that these are made. The prop wash is a lot more directed because it's got kind of that ducted shroud around the fans, so those ducts, kind of direct the prop wash down uh, a lot more than say like a 5-inch fan would on a bigger quad. So that's one of the challenges that I'm trying to overcome right now is how do I how do I fly nice and slow and stay at a consistent altitude, right over the ground to get nice cinematic style shots. Or maybe I just need to be, 5 feet up. Maybe I can't do that at 3 feet or whatever, because it seems, that as you're sitting in that ground effect, where the prop wash is still hitting the ground, to keep it airborne and to keep it steady, you have to be about 5 feet off the ground, or it's just gonna kind of bounce all over the place. So I don't know. Right now it's still kind of an experiment, and I'm learning, but I like the thing. Robert O, I use my thumbs. I am not a pincher type guy. Josh, are you talking about the camera I'm using for the stream or the camera I've got on the quad? I may try. I may try pinching, but I mean, it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel comfortable. I've tried it before, and maybe I'll give it a better. You know, I'll give it. I'll give myself a little more time to see if I can get used to it because I've heard uh, that you can get better control. If you're pinching the sticks, but I've always preferred, using the thumbs, and it's probably because I come from this generation where, um, before I ever started messing around with RC stuff, I was messing around with Xboxes and PlayStations, and that's how we do it. You get an Xbox controller, and you're doing this all the time. So that's just what felt natural to me when I started flying RC. And when I was doing surface stuff before then, I always had like the pistol style surface stuff. So, I mean, that had a steering wheel and a trigger. So when I picked these up about 5 years ago, it just made sense. I I use the remote the way I use like a PlayStation, and this, like the pinching just feels weird. It feels like it would take. I don't know. I'll try it out. It just doesn't. It's definitely not the same. I feel like I can get quicker reaction and response uh, just using my thumbs. And maybe I would have a lot more control if I was pinching. Well, I'll try it out. I'm open to new things. Yep. I pinch in the morning. I pinch about 27 times throughout the day. I pinch about 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night. Josh, the camera on this thing is a Runcam Nano 2. So it is a tiny little Runcam camera right there on the front. See. Yes. Runcam Nano 2. Little tiny thing. You say you pinch it in the shower? Hey, if you're in the shower, you don't have to pinch it, man. Just let it go. Just let it go. Mojo 410. Hello, sir. Josh, I had heard that, and I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try running the camera down to maybe like 5 degrees. I mean, it's got a good enough field of view where I don't think I need it all the way at 0. But bringing it down to like probably, I mean, even if it was at 0, that'd probably work out even better. Because I'm not really trying to go fast with this thing anyway. What I'm trying to achieve with it is where the GoPro and the Runcam are looking at the exact same thing. And that's how I've got it set up right now. What the GoPro sees is exactly the same thing as what the Runcam. So, I know that when the GoPro is recording, whatever I'm looking at through the goggles is what's recording on the screen, if that makes sense. So that's why I have the Runcam, tilted the way it is, because the GoPro mount is fixed. It cannot be adjusted. And I think it's at 15 degrees. So, Spencer, that's a good idea. The only thing that so I can't fly it on the fixed wing side of the field. I can only fly it on the helicopter side of the field. So we do have our field is split into 2 different fields, and we have one side that's for fixed wing, and on the other side is, rotary. And if I flew this thing on the fixed wing side, like, I'd get gang busted pretty quick. So the other thing is, like I mentioned, I've got these Emax goggles. They're great for $40, but I want more. So I ordered a set of SkyZone 030, the OLED SkyZone goggles from, I think it's Race Day Quads. Race Day Quads offers a military discount for those of you that are military veterans. And it's only 5%, but 5% off of that much money is quite a bit. So I, there were a lot of options out there. I was looking at the Fat Sharks, mostly Fat Sharks. I mean, I looked at the DJI stuff, but that's way too much right now for just getting started. So I got the SkyZone goggles. They seem to have really great reviews, and I'll do my own review on those goggles too, because heck, why not? I'm getting started. you know, and I will compare them to these cheap crap $40 box cameras. I know it's not a fair comparison at all, but it's a different experience. You know, so I kind of want to document, you know, my quad experience too on the channel, and you know, I think that there's room to have fixed wing and quads on the same channel. No one else is doing it. David yourself, no problem. You can show up anytime you want. So, Jermaine Spencer, if you go and you look up, so they are Sky Zone 030. If you look up the Sky 030 goggles, they seem to be very well liked within the quad community. You know, which I am certainly not, you know, big into that at this point, but they certainly seem to have a lot of you know, a lot of love from the quad community. Now, you know, I'll be able to let you know what my opinion is when I get them, but all the people that have reviewed them say that they're at least as good as the Fat Shark HDO goggles. And now some folks are, you know, even compare them to the Fat Shark HDO 2s. Some folks don't like the Fat Sharks. Some folks don't like the Sky Zones. But, you know, the overall consensus that I found in watching, you know, and doing my own research is that the Sky Zone 030s are very well made and have some great feature sets. And, you know, and I'll be able to share my own opinion when I get them. Hopefully they'll be here by the end of the week. But they definitely look cool, and you don't have to buy a bunch of extra crap with them. You know, like with the Fat Sharks, you gotta buy the receiver modules, and you know this already has the receiver module in it. And I just wasn't down with that, man. I didn't want to mess with all that crap. Instead of using 18650s, the Sky Zones use, I mean, you can hook it up on anything from a 2S to a 6S battery. You can put like a regular LiPo pack. They've got a cable with an XT60 on it. So any battery that you've got with an XT60 connector, plug it in. 2S to 6S, it'll fire up them goggles and run them for like a week and a half. Yep. I didn't even look at the Fly Skies. You know, all the ones that I was looking at was the E-Sheen, like the EV100, EV200, EV300s. I was looking at a wide variety of the Fat Sharks. And the Sky Zone, like the O2Xs and the O3Os. And at the end of the day, for my money, I decided that the Sky Zone 030s were the ones that I was going to try out. So we will see. All right. So Ryan O, I've got a GoPro Hero 8, and I have the Hero 8 mount on the front of this guy. So yes, I am going to put this guy in the mount for some GoPro footage with the quad. And that was really the main reason for getting this. It wasn't necessarily to have like a toy for the channel, but to use this as another tool for catching cool footage. But since I've been flying it around and, you know, just digging into it and all the stuff that you can do in beta flight, I mean, I don't know why I waited so long to get one, because I love programming and tinkering with things. And dude, this thing is like a tinkerer's playhouse, man. You have to solder all kinds of tiny, tiny little connections, and this has like the little mini boards, like the 20 millimeter stack in it. Some of the solder connections were there already, but I had to, you know, change some of them up and solder some things on there, and you know, I had to solder some things on the receiver. So you know, I still got to play around with the soldering iron, you know, in the building, and I kind of dig it, man. This is kind of the hobby that, you know, there's some hobby within the hobby. Like if you like to tinker around with electronics, and quads are cool. And I definitely like to tinker around with electronics and play with computers and program things. Um, you know, but there's already some phenomenal videos out there on how to program, you know, beta flight and all that stuff. So that's not my jam. I'm still going to be a Spektrum guy. It does not have GPS, Robert. I have considered getting a GPS module for it to make it iNav compatible. But I think for the type of stuff, and really I won't know until I try it. You know, I may get a GPS module. I think they're like $20 to add GPS to the thing, wire it up, and see what that's like having, you know, flying it with iNav. Because I still want to have manual control over it. I don't want the software to take over everything. And I don't know how much iNav takes over. You know, if it's got modes that put it into like hovering and station keeping and, you know, auto level or, you know, position hold. I'm not sure how all that works, and if there's a mode where I can go into like an acro mode. You know, if I can put it in an acro mode, or like even like a self-leveling mode or whatever, where I have full control and I can fly it, then I'll probably try that out. You know, because I would like to have the ability to do like an altitude hold or something like that, or like a loitering or whatever, you know, and get the thing to just stay in one spot. That would be nice. Gary S., hello, sir. Yeah, I've seen folks that are using iNav for quads. So I don't think it's just for airplane. But I've definitely seen people use iNav for fixed wing airplanes and like flying wings too. So, you know, at this point, I'm still kind of fresh into that whole thing. I have no idea. I have no idea if flying, you know, with iNav or what iNav is really made for. I know that it can do like coordinates and things like that. Like I can set it up to fly like a course and then come back. Um, you know, and I'm open to trying it all. I mean, for $20 to throw a GPS module in this thing, and even if I don't like it as much as I like beta flight, adding the GPS and compass adds a few extra features to Betaflight, that I don't have now. So I can always reflash Betaflight and turn on things like I think it's GPS rescue or drone rescue or something like that, where it has kind of a return to home thing that that might be one of the fail-safe options if you've got GPS enabled, which is really nice. What's up, Mike? You got an AR637T question. Craft King, man, I'll definitely keep that in mind. A lot of the issues that I have run into so far with Betaflight have been related to just not being familiar. There's just not a lot out there right now. There's like one video where guys talk about Spektrum receivers, but I haven't seen one where people actually hook up a Spektrum receiver and make it work. And I probably should have documented that. Not that there's a ton of people in the quad community using Spektrum, so it may have been, a video that got looked at like 4 times. But it probably could have made a difference. There's one guy out there who's pretty big, Ladrib, something like that. I don't watch a lot of his stuff right now. And he uses Spektrum almost exclusively. And he's got a lot of great stuff on how to set up Betaflight for use with the Spektrum, like setting up, telemetry and all that stuff using SRXL2, but didn't show like, here's how you hook it up. Here's how you hook it up, and here's how you get it to communicate with Betaflight. That took a little bit of, fumbling around and trying to figure out like how to set up the ports and the UARTs in Betaflight. But once I got that figured out, it was like, oh, So I got it working. Uh, you know, uh, yeah, it's one of the Rotor Riot guys named Ladrib. I don't know what his real name is. and he runs IX12s. And I've seen a couple of other videos of guys that have switched from using OpenTX over to IX12. And I don't know what Betaflight or not Betaflight. I don't know what OpenTX has in it that makes it any better than running an IX12. Some people say that the latency's better. Maybe the latency's better if you're running Crossfire. I don't have Crossfire in this thing. I'm just running the Spektrum receiver. But I mean, it runs at 11 milliseconds. I mean, how much faster do you really need it to go? I mean, it's got great latency. I haven't had any issues with the thing being super responsive. And I mean, maybe I can't get 4 miles worth of range out of it. And if I ever wanted to, I would switch over to 900 megahertz anyway, which means that you're going to need a Crossfire module. And a Crossfire module can interface with an IX12 or a DX9 the same way it can with the Radio Masters and the Jumpers and, the FR Sky radios. So, again, I mean, if you've got a Spektrum radio already, I don't see there being any advantage to, to jumping into the OpenTX world just to be able to try out quadcopters. I didn't have any problems programming it. It was super simple. And I mean, as far as I can tell, a lot of the functionality What kind of extra functionality could they add to the transmitter to make it any better than what Spektrum has? You know, I don't know. Ryan O, that thing is kind of on a hiatus right now and has been for a while. So the 3D Lab print Spitfire, I started working on that plane, and this is going to be sad. I started working on that plane like a couple of years ago and just never got around to finishing it. And the reason I never finished it is, number one, if I ever crashed it, it breaks into a million pieces, like worse than balsa. And because all the pieces are like glued and fused together, it makes it where it's almost impossible to repair it. I mean, you'd have to like completely rebuild the wing section or completely rebuild the fuselage from nothing, which can take days and days and days to reprint it. Now, see you, Craft King. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, it would take a long time to repair it. And at the time, the Flightline 1600 Spitfire did not exist yet. When the 1600 Spitfire came out, I almost completely lost interest in continuing with the 3D Lab Prints project because I'd much rather have a foam model with spare part availability, which just sounds terrible. But I mean, it's so much easier. It's so much easier, and it's already got all the electronics and everything. You know, for that 3D Lab Prints plane, I would still need to buy like the servos, and I still need to buy retracts and struts, and I mean, it's a couple $100, $200-300 in electronics. Where if I get the Spitfire from Flightline, which is still an awesome model, got all that stuff in it already, and so and it's not that much smaller. I think we're talking, you know, I think that 3D Lab Prints is 1700 millimeter wingspan, and the Flightline is a 1600 millimeter wingspan. So I think that when I looked at the amount of effort that I still had to go to finish it, and the amount that I would have to spend to finish it, I'd rather put that money and time value into buying the Flightline Spitfire. So I kind of just let it die. But it was cool. It was a cool build process. I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked, you know, printing everything. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna finish it. Oh, Shadow, I don't think they're fragile like balsa. I think they explode. Like balsa will turn into toothpicks at least. But yeah, yeah, like man, I haven't seen one of the 3D lab print, like a 3D printed plane go in. But man, if it does go in, like that thing, I mean, that's just a mess. Right. And I just don't want to, I don't want to mess with that, man. I mean, a Freewing plane, look, yeah, like, or a Flightline, you know, I get that Flightline Spitfire, we already know it's awesome. We already know it's awesome. And as much as I love the lines, like the lines of the 3D Lab print Spitfire are a little more true to scale, but What what a nightmare if you crash it. It would just be a hanger queen, man. And it's just, as much as I would love to finish it someday, and I still might. Yeah, I mean, I've still got all the parts and pieces to finish it up. I still may finish that 3D lab print plane, but it's just not. It's not. It's deep in the backlog of RC projects. Ryan O, I need to. Oh, you know what? So apparently direct drive conversions on Ender 3s are pretty simple. I haven't tried it. The extruder that I have on there now works awesome, but it's still got that Bowden tube, and it still doesn't do very well um, for flexible filaments. I think if I did the direct drive conversion, and I think I can 3D print the parts to do the direct drive conversion. Doesn't look like there's much to it. And you're basically just taking the entire extruder assembly and sticking it right on top of the hot end. I think if I were to do that, you know, I'm sure that I could get better results with Wreck-'em Roy. That's a lot of work just to watch it explode, man. Yes, Rhino. It does have Capricorn tubing on it. I've done a lot of stuff to that Ender 3. I mean, direct drive, I haven't changed the hot end. It's still the factory hot end. You know, and I have thought about doing like the V6 hot end or whatever, but I haven't had any issues with the factory hot end, so I've just left it alone. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. It's not the same. The extruder's been changed out. All the stepper motors are still the same. The belts are still stock. I've got belt tensioners. Let's see. It's a different control board. And I can't remember what the name of the control board I put in there was, but it's a 32-bit control board that I got from the, what is the name of those guys? I forget the name of the company. But they're the same company I got, like, they're the same folks that do like the Easy ABL. You know, so I've got like the auto bed leveling, the Easy ABL auto bed leveler, and their same easy board for the Ender 3. Yeah, I do look up a lot. It's when I'm trying to think of stuff. Nope. The bed leveler that I've got for my Ender 3 is called an Easy ABL. I just can't remember. I can't remember the name of the company. But it works fantastic. It's about the same price when when you put everything together for like a BL Touch and all the different stuff that you need. The Easy ABL and the BL Touch are about the same, but the guy that does the Easy ABL stuff, he's kind of a butthole. But the Easy ABL stuff already has all the code pre-written. You just take like the firmware that this guy wrote, you flash it onto your board, and boom, it just works. And it makes everything. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. John is Tim Hoogland, and it might be TH3D, something like that. Is that the name of the kid? Is Tim Hoogland 3? Is it TH3D? TH3D Studios, maybe something like that. He's got a lot of stuff. Um, and he can be, he can be a bit arrogant. He's awfully proud of his products, but rightfully so. I mean, I use them and they work really well. And a lot of people steal his ideas, and they're his ideas. They can't be intellectual property because it's all open source stuff. But he gets pretty pissed off when people take, the things that he's been working on and call it their own. Yeah, Ender 3 or the I mean, if you've got the coin to spend on a Prusa Mark II or Mark III, I think. Yeah, if you've got the money to spend on a Prusa, get a Prusa. But if you don't, get like an Ender 3 or an Ender 5. I think they've even got another one. I think it's a CR6 now, which is about the same dimensions as the Ender 3, just a much better. Everything else about it is better. So I think it's the CR6, and once that comes out, I probably wouldn't do an Ender 3 anymore. I'd probably be looking at that CR6. Shadow, I'm sorry. Um, that is called Liftoff, and it's available on Steam, and I think it's $20. So it's the right price. And yeah, I mean, if you guys are looking for something that's just kind of fun to mess around with, the Liftoff drone simulator on Steam for $20, it's 20. Just just buy it if you want to get something that's a good Steam or a good drone simulator. Um, Real Flight has some drones in it, but the Real Flight drone simulation is nowhere near as good as Liftoff. Liftoff was built for it, so do it. Prusas are the idiot proof printer. They really are, man. The Prusas are nice, but if the prices haven't changed on them, they're also about $700. So, could I get this Creality 3D CR6 or whatever for $250, or even three of them, or should I get one Prusa printer? I'll take the Creality, and uh, I'll get an FDM printer and a resin printer for the same price or less than one Prusa. So I've had great luck with my Ender 3. And this was one of the first Ender 3 models that I've got. It's not an Ender 3 Pro. It's just a standard Ender 3. It gives me what I feel is great, um, great print quality. I've got all of the bugs worked out of it. I mean, yes, I had to put more time into it, and over time, I have given it features that the Prusa already comes with, and it did take time, it did take effort, but it didn't take a lot of money. I've probably put about maybe $100 worth of parts into my Ender 3, and if I had gotten an Ender 3 Pro, I wouldn't have had to put that much in. And with like the new CR6 that's already got self-leveling and all that built into it, there's even less that you have to do. So the excuse me. So the Creality 3D printers are a great option. Yeah, man. Ender 3 Pro for $210? That's a steal, dude. Absolutely, I would get one of those. So let's see. Oh, look, the Ultimakers, that's another one of those printers that's really nice, but I just don't. For what I do at my house, I mean, it's just not worth it, man. I'm only printing one thing at a time. I'm not trying to make money 3D printing. The Ultimaker's just not worth it. Those things are super expensive. Super expensive. All right. So I was going to talk about a couple of new things that have come out since the last time I was on, but they're almost just not even worth talking about. There hasn't been a lot of new stuff come out in the last few weeks, and the couple of things that have come out have been such non-starters for me that I mean, I'll mention them. Um, you know, there hasn't been any new planes come out from Motion yet, and the two planes that have come out from Horizon here in the recent past have been, you know, like the Sport Cub S, a new trainer, and this new Habu, you know, that's geared towards beginners, no retracts, no flaps. Um, just things that are like, come on, guys. You know, two trainers in a row. Roach Coach. Hello, sir. George Watts. George, you've probably been here all night, man, and I'm just seeing your name and I'm like, hey, what's up? So, George, I print a lot of stuff for my planes, and a lot of it is based on, you know, just what I need at the time. Um, and some of it, you know, let me grab some, and I have one sitting here. Like I designed this little piece on my 3D printer, and this one, some of the dimensions were wrong, so it's actually like something that I can throw out now. But this little piece, like my camera mounts onto it. The camera mounts on top of it, and the screen sits over here, and I've got like an eye cup that goes on there, and this just kind of holds the camera and the screen and the eye cup all stationary with each other. But you know, the design, some of the dimensions were a little bit off, and the eye cup was moving around, so I had to change some things by a few millimeters. But you know, this is the kind of stuff that I designed, and I made this in Fusion 360. Um, and I make a lot of stuff in Fusion 360 just based on what I need at the time. V1200. So yeah, uh, the missiles for any plane. You know, a lot of the ordnance that we get, no matter who the model comes from, if the ordnance, you know, the foam ordnance just looks kind of silly. And I think if they made it any thinner or whatever, it just wouldn't be rigid enough to hold its shape. You know, it would melt and it would kind of look a little flaccid. And we don't want, you know, flaccid objects hanging off the bottom of our planes. So the best way to go is to 3D print the missiles and stuff, because the 3D printed missiles look amazing. I mean, you can get them so scale looking. So that's what you see a lot of people do, and there's a lot of options out there for adding 3D printed ordnance, and you know, you'll see these guys take that stuff, paint it to look exactly scale, and I think that that is, you know, one of the coolest things that you can do with 3D printers. John T. Kenny is Hangar 51. And to me, the I mean, the ordnance is something that is more for like static models anyway. You know, when it's on static display sitting at my house, I'll put ordnance on an airplane or drop tanks or whatever, unless they're hard to get off or they glue on, and then I just won't put them on ever, because I never fly with ordnance on. I have a couple of times, but for the most part, I like the flight characteristics of every plane that I've got that's got ordnance that could go on it. I like them better without the ordnance, flight wise. I'll put it on there when it's sitting at the house, but before I take it to the field, I'll pull the ordnance off, take it to the field, fly it, come back, put the ordnance back on, hang it back on the wall. Yes, we don't want no flaccid ordnance. You know, I need my ordnance rock hard, rock hard. Wait a minute. So, Wreck-'em Roy, I mean, it's not for me to say what Dave's RC did, because I'm not Dave. I'm not that Dave. I'm the other Dave. But Dave's RC did wreck his F-18 and busted the nose off. And really, it wasn't even Dave who wrecked his F-18. It was Tyler, who's one of the guys that flies with him and goes out and makes videos with him. But yes, the F-18 did get crashed. The front end got broken off, and I think he's gonna do it all back together. I think he put the battery too far back, and it was just real tail heavy, which is no good, man. Yeah, Ryan O. Blender is that's a different kind of 3D modeling software. I mean, you can certainly do drawings like you can in Fusion, but it's for me, Fusion is more for making parts, and Blender is more for making models, if that makes sense. You can do really good modeling in Fusion 360 and in Blender, and make really nice looking 3D models. And Fusion 360 is more of like a utilitarian CAD program for making parts. Yeah, Shadow, I haven't talked to Dave since he crashed it, and it's a shame, man. I hate that he wrecked it, because there's such awesome planes, you know. And I'm kind of wondering, like, did he set the I'm trying to think of how it would fly. It would feel like it was nose heavy, because you have to set a little bit of up elevator on the full flying stabs. I think you're putting about, you know, like 10 millimeters on the front side of the leading edge, like maybe it's 8 millimeters of down elevator up elevator, you're mechanically supposed to set that on the F-18 with the full flying stabs. And what I'm wondering is if he either put too much up elevator, which would have made it seem like it was flying tail heavy, or if there were other issues going on outside of just the CG being off. Yeah, Mike. Jet Tech Don Atkins. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Fudge indeed. It's a shame. Ramsey Glass, thank you. Thank you to everybody. Look, I mean, we don't have a lot of time left tonight. We got about 10 more minutes. But I just wanted to say, for the folks that are here now that weren't here at the beginning of the show, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. I think he is Shadow because he was live last night and it was from the field. They were flying last night. I think it was a different type of thing. I think he's still doing his show tonight. Oh, there you go. So yeah, GooneyX already put the link on the page for you guys to be able to get to the his stream. That stream starts at 10:15, so you don't have to leave yet. So yeah, so I think for most folks, yeah, the Habu, I think it's a good. Get Ted done. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. The Habu is one of those planes that I'm probably not gonna get unless they send me one to review it, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's just not one that I would buy because it's not at where I am. That's not where I'm at in my in my airplane experience level. So I'll tell you, I know that I've seen a lot of stuff where folks are saying is it's a bad idea. I don't think it is a bad idea, guys, because I know that if that airplane had been available when I started flying, I probably would have gotten that Habu instead of an Apprentice. When I bought the Apprentice, I bought the plug and play version. It was about $279 after batteries, charger. After buying the batteries, after buying the charger, after buying the radio, after buying everything that I needed to get that Apprentice up and running, it was about $500. This Habu, if that had existed, if a ready to run Habu had existed when I started flying, I would have started with that Habu and I probably wouldn't own any prop planes today at all. Because the only thing that I wanted was jets. That's the only thing that I cared about. I wanted to fly jets. That was it. So that would have been a great thing if that had existed, 4 or 5 years ago when I got into this flying side of RC. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think it's a great idea to have, like a 3S jet that can really slow down. It's got a tricycle landing gear. It's fixed, so you don't have to worry about flaps. You don't have to worry about V-tracks. Those things would be great because I think that ultimately it's a good looking model. And I would love to see one that had flaps and retracts, but I don't think it's a bad idea to have a jet trainer. I would like to fly one. I don't necessarily want to own one. I would like to fly one just so I can judge for myself, like, is this something that I would put in the hands of a newcomer to the hobby? Do I want to buddy box somebody on a jet? You know what I'm saying? But, oh, I'm sure it'd fly great with a standard receiver. Uh, Don Atkins, you definitely did that right, and I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mike Keller, yeah, the best choice for EDF trainer. We've got your answer now. The Habu. Right. You know, I get it, GB. I think that for a lot of us, I mean, just the idea of a jet as a beginner plane, jet trainer, is kind of an oxymoron. But if it works, it's a beautiful thing because how many guys look, when I got the itch to want to fly RC, I mean, I've been wanting to do it forever, but when I really got it bad, you know, and was like, look, I'm going to the store and I'm buying a freaking airplane. Um, what got that itch, and this is kind of funny, it was about 5 years ago. So what are we talking? About 2 or 3 years into Pilot Ryan's stint with Motion RC, and I saw where Motion RC came out with some plane, and he was at the field flying it, and I was like, I gotta have one of those. And then I started looking at other RC jets. I started looking, man, I was watching, and who was that guy that used to fly the planes for Banana Hobby? Um, he sure did make those planes look like they flew great. But I was watching like the Banana Hobby videos with all the different jets that they were coming out with, and I was, yeah, Pete, there you go. And I was watching, you know, Pilot Ryan flying all these jets, and they just looked amazing, man. And I was like, I've got to get a jet. And you know, the Banana Hobby stuff, like some of it says, oh, this is level 1, it's good for beginners. And I was like, well, crap, man, if it's good for beginners, maybe I'll get one of those. And I'm so glad that I didn't. Because I really think that I would have never enjoyed the hobby as much as I do if I'd have gone that route first. So I got the Apprentice. You know, I'm looking for trainer planes. If the Habu can live up to being a good trainer plane, regardless of whether it's jets, props, whatever, if it can live up to being a good trainer and it's well behaved in the air and it doesn't do squirrely stuff when you're flying it around on 3S, man, that would have been my jam. I would have loved to get my hands on that plane. I would have loved it. And I never would have looked back, man. I'd have been like, jets forever. I'm kind of glad I didn't go that way because I love prop planes and I love jets. And the only reason that I like prop planes is because that's where I started. So, I mean, it's fun to go back there. But man, if this thing can truly live up to being a good trainer, beginner friendly airplane, that's a game changer. Who else is making something like that? I don't think anybody else is making something like that. I, if it causes a lot of crashes, I think that's a shame, but I hope it doesn't. I hope that it I hope that it works. I hope that it really is a great plane, which is why I said I would love to fly one, but I don't want to own one. I don't want to pay for it. Who I need to talk to about. Jason Merkel, if you see this, I'm actually an instructor. I am a Horizon Flight School coach, and I would like to test the Habu to see for myself and my students the suitability of your jet trainer, Jason Merkel. What is it? Jet Tech? Don Atkins. Thank you, sir. So Jason at Horizon, send one of your flight coaches a Habu. I did. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna start wrapping this up. We got about a minute left. Give Dave the damn Habu. That's right, Ryan. Give Dave a damn Habu. Let me try it out.
I just guys are just I don't really that being
Sorry, guys. If you couldn't hear, um, to paraphrase what Amy said, because I know she's very soft spoken at times. We're still. I put on a game face for the show, but we're still very much in a state of emotional trauma. Um, and Amy, we're handling it in different ways. And when she's ready to come back on the show, she will be. But right now, it's just not a good time. I mean, we're still kind of at the beginning stages of dealing with all of this, kind of new normal that we have to get used to. And she was just saying, echoing what I said earlier about how much we truly appreciate the compassion and hospitality of this community in our time of, true emotional and just tragedy. All you guys that have been there, that have reached out just to say hi, or like Spencer Keith, who's sent me like middle finger emojis like every day. I absolutely love you guys. So that's what Amy was saying is, and she apologizes that you guys couldn't hear. It's not our normal. We're still kind of getting back into it, right? She just wanted to say thank you to everybody. But like I said, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. But before I do, I want to put my email address down again. So it's RC Air Marshal. So I put my Air Marshal email address down there, rcairmarshal@gmail.com. at yourmom.com. That's right, Ryan. And for everybody that has, sent anything, we want to send some thank you cards out to all of you guys. So if you're just now joining us, unfortunately we're about to go off the air, but that's okay. Send me your address. We're sending out everything to all of our friends and family, and you guys are every bit as much as our friends and family as as the folks that we've met in person. So shoot me your address, and for most of you that sent donations via PayPal, I probably have your address through PayPal or whatever address you have in PayPal. So we're going to be sending some thank you cards to all of you. And it's just something that we want to do. So, if you don't want one, don't send me your address. But if you do, send me your address, because we would like to send something nice to all the people that have been there to support us over these last few weeks. Now, Roach Coach, I agree. But she is soft spoken, and I was gonna stick the microphone right up to her mouth. Joseph Ramsey, we got father and son Ramsey in here tonight. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get going. Gooniac is coming up, so we'll do our weekly rundown. Before we do, I do want to just run through something, because it is our first time. I wanted to do a quick shout out for we now have 22 members of the channel. So for all you guys, I absolutely appreciate you guys supporting the channel. It means a ton. And let's see. And I want to do a shout out to all of our sheriffs tonight. Jet Tech Don Atkins, Sandros 54, Ken Sprouse Jr., all of which joined tonight. Mike Keller, RC Stinger, Dennis Farley, Spencer Keith, William Mergita, Mike SSI, Flying Times, Dave Kowiski. Thank you guys all so much, and all you other members as well. The channel memberships is one of the ways that you guys can support the channel, without having to do weekly super chats. If you still want to do super chats, it's cool. I ain't gonna tell you no. But, just another way that you can support the channel. And we absolutely plan to, to live up to the promises that we make with these perks. We're gonna upload some behind the scenes footage. We're gonna do a weekly now real flight virtual fly-ins. we are going to do the once a month live stream for the sheriffs. And and coming in the community post very soon, we will have 5% off merchandise discounts for people that want to buy stuff from the merch store for all members, just as a way to say thank you for supporting the channel. Be sure to check out our merch store. There is a link in the description of this video. Be sure to check that out, and it will be in the all videos that we do in the future. If you want to get yourself an RC Air Marshal shirt, you can help support us that way too. And everything, as you guys know, goes back into the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys. I have enjoyed being back, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Now, next week, this is the first Monday of the month. Next week will be the virtual fly-in. It should have been tonight, but I went ahead and did the regular show tonight because it's been a while since we've been on. Next week will be the virtual fly-in for everybody. But for members, we will have a virtual fly-in every week, and watch the community posts to get updated on when that's coming this week. Thank you guys again so much, and we will see you next week. Y'all have a great night.